Not being judgy, but do you spend more time organizing your tasks or chasing status updates than you do actual work? Look into Rike. It's a smart work management platform that automates everyone's mess. Go to wrike.com/TMM to check it out.
Welcome to the Marketing Millennials, the No BS Marketing Podcast. I'm Daniel Murray, and join me for unfiltered conversations with the brains behind marketing's coolest companies. The one request I tell our guests, stories or it didn't happen. Get ready to turn the up.
Welcome back to the Marketing Millennials. I am here with the Amy Porterfield. You probably all know Amy Porterfield. She has one of the top podcasts out there. She is crushing in marketing. She's always crushing in marketing. She's launching a new show, the Amy Porterfield Show. We're excited to all listen to that. But we want to talk about what you built your podcast on and how to make online marketing easy. But first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
I want to start into the first question, which I think is online marketing is always changing, but what do you see that's working right now that was not effective 1 year ago?
Well, I feel as though the landscape has changed dramatically. I've been doing this for 16 years, and I think this year and last year, I've seen the most changes. And by changes, I mean things that were working really well are not necessarily working like they used to. And so with that, we've had to really start to think about what can we do differently? What would allow us to stand out and differentiate? And with that, we as a company have come back to personalization. And anybody listening can take advantage of this concept of personalizing your online marketing strategies. So it could be as simple as you start having more conversations in the DMs on Instagram. This is something that we've done. ManyChat has been on the scene for a while now, really popular last year. I don't know if it's going to keep its popularity into this year, but I do know one way to make it stronger is if you start having real conversations with people. And so those touch points, such as a DM, I think are going a long way. Considering that we kind of got really far away from it for so long, didn't actually need it as much, I think it's needed. Another personalization idea that I've seen work really well. Recently, just yesterday, I was on someone's website and I was looking at one of their digital courses they were selling. And I went to the page and they had a simple sales page, but a video of this woman came up in the corner. And she just started talking so casually that you thought she was live almost. But she was saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you came here. You're probably thinking this or that, and you might be wondering, da, da, da." So she just starts talking to you in the little corner. And so I felt like, oh my gosh, like she totally gets me because everything she was saying, I was thinking before buying her program. So anywhere that you can add touches of video, actually making people feel like I am focused right on you right now. I'm talking to you. I care about what you have to say. And then also gearing your marketing toward really understanding your ideal customer avatar. Like, what do they think? What are they saying? What do they need? And then turning that into the personalization, whatever it might look like in your business. It's gone a long way for us. And we've absolutely seen conversions increase because of it.
One of the things you're really good at is growing a following. And a lot of brands are looking at growing their following, but they don't really know how to translate that into sales. So how have you took your following and turned it into a paying customer?
I love this question because there is a principle that I have lived by for the last 16 years in growing my business. And that is that I have stayed in my lane. So I believe because the internet is so noisy and it's only getting noisier, and I feel as though, back in the day, I had a few competitors. Now I feel like I have hundreds doing very similar things that I am doing. And the one reason why, if you are in a room and you are talking to other internet marketers like all of us, and someone says, "I want to create a digital course. Do you know someone who can help me create and launch a digital course?" I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, my name is in that conversation. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to say it was by design. So many years ago, I started creating courses in my own business and then realized the number one question I was getting is, why are your courses so successful? What are you doing to grow your email list and get so many people to buy your courses? So around that time is where I shifted the business, starting to teach people how to create and launch their digital courses. And this was many years ago. And since then, that is what I do. I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm optimizing that niche in my world, and I'm getting better and better at it. I also am along the same lines of how I've become known for something and built my brand is that I don't have a lot of courses. I don't have a lot of products. So up until to this year, we're experimenting with some small group coaching, but up until this year, I had one evergreen program, one live launch course that I launch once a year, and a membership. And the only way you get into the membership is if you've gone through my $2,000 program and you get an invite. It's $97 a month, but you get an invite only after you've gone. So 3 courses, evergreen, live launched, and a membership. And last year, we made over $17 million with a simple suite like that. And so when you become known for something and you keep your offers very, very minimal, but you get really good at what you do, to me, that is the secret sauce to growing a really thriving brand.
I think another thing you do really well, and I want to get your opinion on it, is you're really open about your challenges and the behind the scenes struggles in a business. So how has that level of vulnerability helped you connect with your audience?
You know, that's a huge compliment you just gave me because years ago, no one would say that about me. And they always said, I wish you'd be open up. I wish you would share more. And in my mind, I had this podcast, Online Marketing Made Easy. I taught online marketing. Why do you care about, the worst year of my business where it didn't work out or challenges that my husband has with me because I'm running this business and I'm always working and all of that. But then I realized I care. I want to know behind the scenes of what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I leaned into it more. But I just want to say to anyone that doesn't feel natural, it didn't feel natural for a long time for me, but I just knew that personalization, I had to be more personal as well. And so I have a philosophy around that. I never share the oozy scabs. I only share the scars. And here's what I mean. When I'm going through something, and anyone building a business or working for a thriving business, we have challenges every single day. And so when I'm going through something and it's just not working and I'm struggling and I have a day where the tears start flowing and nothing seems to be working and I do not have the answer, I'm not sharing that. I'm not sharing it because the only value is, yeah, you struggle like me, Amy. But I think it's pretty obvious we all struggle when we're building businesses. The value comes from the lessons that I've learned. So until I am out of it, I don't have to be years out of it, but until I'm out of it and I look back and be like, whoa, that was tough. I never want to go through that again. And I can share how I went through it and what I did to get through it, then I'm not sharing it until then. And I do think that that has also allowed me to be a trusted advisor in my space, because I think some people think being a hot mess online and sharing every oozy scab you have makes you more relatable. It also takes away your authority. And so with that, I want to be an authority, but I also want to be relatable. And so you're right. I share every challenge, every mistake I've made, such as bringing a partner on that I already had a business making $1 million. I bring a partner on. He doesn't have to pay any money to get into my business and I make him a 50-50 partner. What the heck was I thinking? And then from there, we did really, really well until it wasn't what I wanted anymore. And to get out of it, because we didn't sign any real agreements, was hell. And so I share all that to say, don't do that. Don't make the mistake I made. But you can bet I didn't say a word about it when I was going through it. I just don't think there's a lot of value there. And I think it takes away some trust.
So you've been sharing, and I commend you for doing that. That's one of the hardest things to do, is share those deeper things about your life and your struggles. But I do like your opinion on that, because everybody goes through struggles, and I think you're really good at giving the tactical advice to things, and you're known for giving the tactical advice. Mm-hmm. So until it becomes something tactical, someone you do, it's just fluff in there.
Right.
I'm not saying what you're going through is fluff because everybody's going, but you're just known for that. So it makes sense that it's core to your brand to share that when it becomes like a tactical lesson that someone can take.
I love that you said that because I think that is one of the ways that I can kind of separate myself from other people who teach online marketing is I really teach the step by step. And I don't expect you to know anything when you're just starting out. And because I have attracted a lot of beginners as well as those that are more established, the beginner marketers are like, wait, I don't even know what words you're using. What do you mean like click-through rate? Like if they're really beginner, they have no clue. And if I don't go step by step, they feel that they're not good enough or smart enough. But I remember when I didn't know what that stuff meant. So yeah, it's really important to me to just take it step by step. And then I teach more advanced strategies to my students who are making 500K, $1 million. And even then they're looking for the step by step and strategy. And it takes longer to teach, but it sets me apart. So I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Yeah, I think you always have to write for the lowest common denominator or talk to the lowest common denominator of your audience. Because I get this all the time. Sometimes you get in this marketing mode of saying CTR or CAC, and you're saying all these like terms, but there's someone out there that doesn't know CAC, doesn't know CTR, doesn't know all these. So just even spelling it out for someone quickly goes a huge way when you're creating content.
You know, I have a question for you. If I told you TOV, would you know what that meant? I want you to say no. I don't. I have a new CMO on my team, and she's really smart. And she throws out these terms that
is it like tone of voice? Is it tone of voice?
You weren't supposed to guess it. I wanted you not to know because I had no idea. I'm like, what does TOV mean in the marketing space? So I share this to say, and you're smarter than I am. I share this to say, I still don't know some of these things. Like she is so much more advanced than me in some of the strategies she's doing. So it reminds me to slow down a little bit because you're right. You just don't know what people don't know. And it makes you feel a certain way sometimes when you're trying to get it going and you're struggling a little.
So you create content on a lot of different platforms. You have a podcast, you have email list, you have big socials. But if you could create content on one platform, where would you invest your time right now?
Podcasting, 1,000,000%. So to me, my podcast is the backbone of my business. And as you mentioned, I've had a podcast since 2013 called Online Marketing Made Easy. And I've recently transitioned into the Amy Porterfield show, which will be a lot of the same and then some new conversations and dig a little bit deeper and be more vulnerable and take people behind the scenes. So it will be better, but it's still an extension of what it was. And I tell you that to say, I can't imagine building the business I have today without my podcast. And the reason for that is number one, you get into somebody's ear and they walk around with you. They take you on workouts. They're cleaning the house. They're doing whatever. And all of a sudden they are so familiar with your voice that you meet them in real life at an event. They think you two are best friends. People treat me like they've known me forever, but I know what it is. It's because they've heard my voice for so many years because I feel like that about the people I follow. And so there's this connection that I think is really special with podcasting. But the other thing that I really love about it is that the podcast platforms from Apple to Spotify to iHeartRadio, when you do the work and you create a really good podcast, they are pushing you out to people that you would never have access to. And so to me, it's the best lead builder, audience builder, because of the vast majority of people that listen to podcasts. It's a very normal thing now. And so I love that. But I will tell you, I probably wouldn't love my podcast or say that it's a huge asset in my business if I didn't treat it like an asset. So I've done advertising on my podcast before, and for right now, I'd say, I won't say never again, but I don't like it because I'm talking about things that sometimes I don't use, and that makes me feel really out of integrity. So then I say, okay, I'm only saying yes to the ads of tools I use, like Slack, Asana, membership.io. I'll market them if they want to pay me because I use the tools. But there's only so many of those that are going to work for my show. What I love and what I've gone back to this year is marketing my own things. So I use it as a huge list builder. and an opportunity to sell. So if I'm in a promo, you can bet that I'm seeding episodes that are leading up to that promo topic. And then I'm inviting people to a quiz. Then I'm inviting them to a masterclass, and I seamlessly weave it into my podcast. So now my podcast is marketing my programs and products, and I'm making way more money on that than I am for some ad spend or when people spend money with my ads. So that's why it's such a huge asset.
I mean, you just launched an episode on that you're launching the Amy Porterfield show, and then you gave a little nuggets of what's to come, what to expect. These are the episodes you're going to, so people now have a reason to tune in of what they're going to expect from the show. So you've already dropped that nugget in their head that something's
coming.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm excited about it.
So podcast number one channel. What advice do you give someone if they wanted to start a podcast today?
I would say keep it simple. One of the easiest things to do, especially now, is that there's so many opportunities with great mics and different technology and different ways for you to do it. And I would say keep it as simple as you can. But here's something I would say to anyone wanting to start a podcast today that I didn't have to worry about back then. And that is, I think you need to do video as well. And believe me, I'm not happy about this because with the Amy Porterfield show, every episode's going to be on video. And I don't know, you tell me, do you ever listen to podcasts by watching them? Is that something you do?
I like the experience of when I'm on Spotify and I can go look at the episode on video for a couple minutes of it, not the whole thing. So there's some shows I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I want to see how they're reacting or what their reactions were. But I've never just sat at my computer and turned on YouTube to look at a video.
Same. But I love that you said that because I listen to true crime way too much. And on this app that I listen to, Crime Junkies, they have a bunch of pictures of like, not the gory stuff, but who these people are. And I'm curious sometimes too. So I get what you're saying. It's a little different, but I get it. But when I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk recently, and he was saying, film it all. Film it all because you can slice and dice it for social media and for different things that you do in your business. And I'm on the same page for sure. I am not naturally comfortable on video. I don't love it. Back in the day when I could just podcast and never had to get on video, I loved it. And then when video started to come on slowly, people would say, hey, we're going to do a video podcast. And I'm like, no, I hate it. But now it's like everything you do is video. So if I was starting a podcast today, I just bite the bullet. I do video and audio, of course. I would keep my technology simple and I wouldn't overthink it because as you get going, your audience will show you what they like and what they don't like, and you can evolve with that. I think a lot of my students don't take the leap and start the podcast because they're overthinking it and they want it to be perfect and it never will be. So my advice is just get started. And if you can be more specific with your topic, by all means, it's just so competitive out there right now that if you have a really general topic, I think it's harder to get seen and heard today versus back then.
The reason why I think podcast is a great channel. And I think the way I think about content is you need to have something that's your pillar content, whether it's a newsletter or a podcast, something. But the great thing about podcasts is one, what you said, you can slice and dice it and put it on all these short form video platforms like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, all that stuff. But with the rise of AI, you get this transcript of long form content that you aren't getting with written content. It's hard to write 45 minutes worth of content, but you can talk with an expert for 45 minutes, an hour, and you get this transcript and you can use AI to transcribe it, transform it, and learn your voice, your tone, your episode, and create way more content. So that's why I think podcast is really underrated in that form because you get these. With AI, it's made it so easy to get these long transcripts out of them.
You are so right. I'm so glad you said that. Using that for so many different opportunities, or now show notes have never been easier, right? Like, holy cow, they just are done within a second. So I agree. Feeding it and then pulling out great content for other channels, it's such a perfect way to do it.
one thing you've done, I mean, you've helped thousands and thousands of people create digital courses. So what is like the first step for someone who wants to turn their expertise into an online product?
I love this question because obviously I love to talk about courses, but the reason I started creating courses in the very first place is that I wanted to do a one-to-many model. I knew that if I was going to do one-to-one or have a few clients, I would always hit a ceiling. There's one of me and I only have so many hours in a day. So the draw of one-to-many and more freedom in the business that I created is why I created courses. So when someone says they might want to create a course, what I typically say, a lot of people come to me and they are doing coaching, consulting type businesses. And they said, if I create a course, no one's going to want my coaching and consulting. And no matter if you do coaching, consulting, or agency or whatever, that tends to come up. If I create a course, no one's going to buy this other thing that I'm making money on right now. It's not true. There are two different people in this world. One that wants to pay the premium, wants more access to you, wants more support. And then there's an audience that either can't support that or they are lone wolves and they want to be on their own. So they're going to do the course on their terms and on their time. So it really is a very different kind of audience. And when you add a course to your existing business, whether around what you're already doing or a different topic, you're now just expanding your audience tenfold, if not more. And so you're going to attract people that never would have bought from you before. And so when I say, when I'm asked, what is the first step? The first thing you want to do is start thinking about your topic and not just thinking about a topic, but validating a topic. And so whether that means you do surveys, you do social polls, you get people on Zoom calls and you do a focus group, we've got to validate that idea because it's not enough to say, hey, if I create a course on XYZ, will you buy it? Everyone will say yes to be nice, and they think they will. But then when it comes down to you got to do the work and you got to pay it, it's a different story. So really understanding, asking questions about their habits, what they need, what they've tried before to really understand if you have a product they would pay for, that's the first step that you want to spend a little time on.
And one of the best ways, I mean, that you've sold so many courses is building that list. And you talked a little bit about that you take a lot of people onto your list from your podcast. So what are the ways you are bringing people on your list and how could people start building their list today to be able to, even if they don't have a course right now, it's probably one of the best assets that they'll have down the road?
I think that if you don't have an email list, you don't have a thriving business. I think it's too hard to keep a viable business going without an email list. When I worked for Tony Robbins, he used to do a business class. And at the time, I was an employee. I didn't have an email list, nor did I really care about one. I wasn't in marketing. And he used to always say, it is the most important asset in your business. And then when I started my own business, I'm like, I 100% get it now. Because one thing you want to think about with a list, because I'll tell you two strategies I use to grow my email list. But if you don't understand the power of it, you won't want to do these strategies because they take work and time, and list building is a slow growth for sure. But here's what I love about a list. At any time, if I need extra money, let's just go to worst case scenario. I'm struggling. Something happened. Something came up in my life. If I need extra money, I, in my business today, can send an email today and make thousands of dollars today, right now at this time in the afternoon, because I've nurtured this list. They're on there for the right reason. They want to learn more, and I email them every single week. So that's one of the strategies to keep a healthy email list. They need to hear from you weekly, twice a week. Anything less than that, you are not top of mind for them. And if you email less and less and less, they'll open less and less and less. So the consistency of emailing once a week, you have a newsletter, you have a thriving newsletter. To me, that's one of the best ways to continue to get out in front of people over and over through email. Because then when you promote, they trust you, they're used to opening up your emails, and they're more likely to open up a promo email. But the two strategies that I've used to create the list that I have today, number one, in the last few years, I've done this a lot. Any kind of quiz or assessment is a really fast, good way to grow an email list. People love to talk about themselves and learn about themselves. So for the ladies listening, you'll know this. When we were younger, we would get into these magazines and it would be like, are you more of a strawberry or a banana when it comes to XYZ? It was very silly and ridiculous, but we're always filling it out like, I don't know, what am I? And so we just like to know this stuff. And as teenagers, we did it. And today it just looks a little bit different, but it's the same kind of vibe. And so any kind of quiz or assessment, in order to get people into your world, here's why it's so valuable. Not only are they to get the results of the quiz, they have to give their email list or email address, but also you're learning about them. So the more you can learn about them, the more you can deliver what they want. So I feel like it's a win-win. But also we have found that running paid advertising to quizzes tends to be pretty inexpensive versus running an ad to a webinar. So it's actually a better bang for your buck. So that's one way we've done it. And we've done many types of quizzes. But the second way is I launch. And every time I launch, I typically do a boot camp that people sign up for and a webinar that people sign up for. And so these are free. My boot camps aren't free anymore, but they're low priced, but the webinars are all free. And so every single launch, I'm getting 30,000 new people on my email list. And then if I nurture them well, the next time I launch, they're more likely to buy. So promote more and give opportunities for signing up for whatever it might be. And also consider an assessment or a quiz.
And you talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, that personalization is the key in 2025, but quizzes are one of the best ways, and webinars, to get zero-party data on your audience. So you're getting things that go beyond, because there are tools now. We're in the age where there's tools that you can enrich to get better data on that audience, but you can't enrich to get their favorite color or
their biggest fear.
Yeah, their fear. Yeah. So they're giving you things that you can use to make your marketing more personal to them, even if you're not. And then you can separate them in different lists, like if their fear is this,
exactly.
And that's personalization as well.
I love that. So I want people to really understand that. Let's say you do a quiz and they're going to fall into 4 different buckets. So they're, I don't know, but they're different categories depending on how they answer. These categories they fall into, number one, you can segment. So now you know more about them and you segment them, tag them in your email service provider. But number 2, you can send very personalized emails right after if you go into a promo based on what they shared. And that's what we do. We tend to do a quiz right before a big launch so that those results, we're talking about them as we get into promo emails. And that tends to really serve us as well. So I love that you brought that up.
If your boss has ever said who approved this copy because they signed off on it a month ago, you might need some ops help. If your campaigns get delayed because no one can find the brief, the assets, or the approvals, you definitely do. Reich kills the disconnects. It's a smart work management platform that automates the chaos for the whole team in one place. With visual collaboration, resource planning, and the insights to make everything better and quicker every time. Go to Reich.com/TMM to see how teams at Lyft, Ogilvy, NVIDIA use it. That's WRIKE.com/TMM.
One of the things you're doing really well, and I think small businesses or one-person marketing team could leverage this, is automation. So what are some quick automations that people can do that are easy and can get that engine rolling?
The biggest thing that we do, the money maker for automation, is Evergreen with our courses. And you can do Evergreen with different types of programs and products. But every single day we make money with an Evergreen funnel. And obviously it's all automated. It's all pre-recorded. And I really do believe that every business should have something running in the background at all times. Now, here's the secret to this type of automation, putting together an Evergreen funnel. Basically, they see an ad, they sign up for either a freebie or a quiz, or they just sign up for the masterclass. We do both. And then they watch my masterclass, and the automation of urgency is tied into it. So they need to buy by a certain time to get certain bonuses, or it goes away. So all automated. And the reason I think every business should have something like this is for the lead gen, not just the money. We make millions of dollars a year with this, but the lead gen is huge because we can't market this to our social media and our email list all the time, maybe once a quarter because they've heard about it a bunch. However, if we're running cold ads every single day, warming them up, even if they don't buy, now they're getting my weekly email and they're getting invited to different things. So it's become a great list builder, lead gen, but also great revenue as well. So that's one of the things we do. But I have different departments. So I've got, ops and customer experience and content and product development. And I do task everyone with, can you automate this in one way or another? So they do just little automations that save us hours and hours. But I think everybody should, if you run a team, you have them come to you with 5 ways they could automate their job in the next 30 days. And at least have them choose 2 or 3 because they're not going to if you don't push them. I've noticed that. They're busy, they're running other things in the business, but saying 5 ways you can automate your business in the next 30 days, and then they have to implement 2, you're saving yourself a lot of manpower.
Yeah, I want to go into thinking about automation and AI, and how do you see AI impacting digital marketing in the next few years?
Huge. I think if you're not using it, you're screwed. And I heard this, and I'm sure you heard it too, where someone was like, I had a friend that was doing a presentation and he was talking about healthcare and something about AI and healthcare. And this nurse stood up and she's like, there's my job. My job's going to be gone. And he said, you're not going to lose your job by AI. You're going to lose your job from someone who knows AI really well. And I do believe that. And so what we've done, number one, I think it's already changed the industry. And I think it will continue to change the industry. And we're going to get faster and smarter with it. And I do think it's going to, I hope, increase the bar a little bit. Whereas, we could say it's just going to water down everybody's messages and everything everyone does. But the people that are using it smart, and I hope I'm one of them, it has already allowed me to up level in so many different ways. The thing is, I think you have to be using it every single day. And you have to push yourself to find new ways to use it because you will get left behind so quickly. So when I talk about AI, I talk about how to use it and how to adopt it. And one of the things that I've done from the beginning is I got in a text group with a bunch of my peers that do internet marketing as well. Every day, we're either sharing articles, tips, strategies, how we're using AI in our business. And because we have similar businesses, we freely share these things that you can implement right away. I think where I've learned to get really good at AI is from the people that I'm having the conversations and sharing ideas with. And I think that is going to help you fast track your way through really understanding how to use it for automation.
I think you also made one of the best points, and I believe this is for every marketer, is the best way to learn marketing is from your peers or someone that's close to you, just slightly ahead of you. It's really hard to learn if you're a manager in marketing, try to learn from a CMO who hasn't been a manager for 10 years.
So true. Yeah.
So like getting in a text group with your peers or people who are finding a mentor that's 2 to 3 years ahead of you, you could probably learn way more than trying to seek out the best. The person who did it 10 years ago, that's probably a big name, but they're not doing what you're doing right now.
I love that. It's such a great point. And if anyone's listening that has a competitive spirit like I do, like I'm way too competitive, I got in the text group with 2 of my girlfriends that are in my industry, and they knew more than me about AI. They were doing more custom GPTs. They were using different tools that I had never heard of. And it freaked me out. Like, I don't want to be left behind. And so that's when I'm like, game on. And so now I'd say I'm definitely at the same level. But if you have that, you're right. Get into a group that maybe they're a little bit ahead of you because you're going to get there quickly if you care to be.
I want to go into some rapid fire questions. And if the first thing comes to your mind, you could say it.
Okay. I'm terrible at this, but let's try.
It's okay. It's okay. First thing that comes, what is the most underrated online marketing strategy?
I would say it is, right now, it's what I mentioned, sending DMs in Instagram. It goes so far, and I don't think enough of us are doing it.
What's one marketing trend you're most excited about?
I think any way to use AI to do my business better or faster is so very exciting to me. But also, I've taught webinars for years and years. I know this isn't rapid fire, but I've taught webinars forever. And people are doing webinars differently and adding different aspects like a boot camp before a webinar or cutting a webinar up into 4 different days. I love to see variations of what I've done forever. And so I'm always looking for those opportunities.
What's the hardest lesson you've learned in business?
I think the hardest lesson I've learned is that I think every day you have to troubleshoot in your business. Every day it feels like there's an issue, a challenge, something that's frustrating. I didn't know entrepreneurship would be that way. I saw people sipping Mai Tais on the beach with laptops on their lap, and I thought that's how it was supposed to be. So the hardest lesson I've had to learn is every day I have to troubleshoot. Every day I have to solve a problem. But once I embraced it, I think it was easier.
What is your favorite way to turn a cold lead into a paying customer?
Ooh, I think it would be value stacking. So my favorite way is to get them in with some kind of freebie and then invite them into something more personal where they see me on video, they have an opportunity to ask questions. And then of course, from there, invite them into the boot camp and the webinar. I play a long game. I never get someone brand new and just like sales page. So I feel like turning a lead into a buyer, to me, it's a little bit more of a slow process, but then they continue to buy and buy.
What's one thing you wish more marketers knew about online courses?
Ooh, I wish they realized that it takes one course to make $1 million. And the way you do that is you continue to launch that one course over and over and over again. That's what I teach, the strategy of one course, multiple launching, whether it be live, evergreen. Don't create a bunch of courses, create that one signature course and get really good at launching it.
What is one piece of content every brand should create?
I would say, oh gosh, this is where you stump me. I know I'm cheating, but give me an example of what someone else has said.
These are specific to you, but
these are new to me. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the storytelling. I think we don't storytell enough. I think we need to get more vulnerable, and the storytelling content is the content that people remember the most and build trust the most. So I would say storytelling.
I have 2 more. One piece of advice that to marketers who are afraid to put themselves out there.
2 things. Number 1, if you're too afraid to put yourself out there, don't worry, because there's someone right behind you that would love for you not to put it out there, and they'd love to snatch up the audience that you're trying to get. So don't let them. And number 2, none of us, like 99% of us online, don't like the way we look online, don't like the way we sound online, but we really love either serving or making that money. And so it is a necessary evil if you look at it like that. And so you just got to do it.
And one last thing, this question I do ask everybody on my podcast is, what's a marketing hill you would die on?
That there's no more important asset in your business than an email list. You can put it on my grave. It's your email list, the most important asset you can have in a business.
And where could people find what Amy Porterfield is doing? The quizzes, the courses, the podcasts, wherever they could find you.
Everything's at amyporterfield.com. And then on Instagram is where I am the most active. And so send me a DM.
Yeah, Amy has a really cool Instagram. She's built a huge following on there. It's really fun to follow. So
thank you.
Go follow her right now. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it as well. So thanks for the great questions.
Thanks so much for listening. Keep tuning in to hear more great insights from the coolest marketers from around the world. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and follow the Marketing Millennials podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, I would greatly appreciate you giving us a 5-star rating. It helps bring more marketers into our community.